Do you catch a cold every year? Are you always tired and without energy? Is your skin dry and aged? Is your memory and reasoning failing? And what about the pain? Headaches, joint pain, is it just age? No, it could be a vitamin D deficiency, but be careful. Don't just start taking vitamin D any way you want. Some are useless and others are dangerous. Hello family, welcome to another video here on our channel. Vitamin D is a hormone and it's low in most of the population. Why? We're not getting enough sunlight now. And besides the symptoms I mentioned above, severe vitamin D deficiency can cause serious health problems. Your body gives warning signs that it's desperate for vitamin D. So, in this video, I'm going to show you 7 clear signs of vitamin D deficiency. The ideal levels, the correct doses, and the right way to use your vitamin D. This video, of course, deserves your like, deserves your thumbs up so it can reach more people. I also ask you to share it in your groups and comment below. Have you been experiencing any of these symptoms? Have you already checked your vitamin D levels? What was the result? Tell me. My friends, don't forget to visit my website. On my website, you'll find all the supplements I use and recommend and that you guys are always asking me about. But which is the best vitamin D with K2? Which is the best magnesium? Which is the best omega-3? What is the correct dosage? It's all there on my website, my friends. My courses are also there. My other social networks are www.dedidado.com. Vitamin D deficiency goes far beyond these 7 signs, 7 symptoms that I'm going to share with you here. These symptoms are more noticeable. But low vitamin D levels can cause very serious health problems. For example, it can increase your subclinical inflammation. Subclinical inflammation, where you don't have any signs, any symptoms, there's no pain, no fever, but it's there. And that's what causes atheroma over the years, which can lead to a heart attack or a stroke. It's what causes Alzheimer's to develop over time, which has become a real global pandemic. It's this inflammation that ends up fueling cancer. Not to mention that you can develop osteoporosis, because it's vitamin D that reabsorbs calcium from our kidneys and our intestines, which strengthens our bones. It's vitamin D that strengthens our immunity and ends up controlling our DNA, preventing defective cells from appearing. And with that, which can start the development of a tumor, for example. Look at how important vitamin D is. And I haven't even mentioned 10 places where it acts. But there are some more noticeable signs that you have low levels of vitamin D. And the first one is tiredness, fatigue. Yes, if you wake up in the morning already tired, you don't even feel like getting up, right? You spend the whole day dragging yourself around. You get home, throw yourself on the couch, and don't want to do anything else. This fatigue, of course, there may be other causes, but it's very much linked to low vitamin D levels. People with low vitamin D, my friends, have no energy. So it's necessary to get your vitamin D levels back up. Of course, it could also be due to a magnesium deficiency or a coenzyme Q10 deficiency. But if you have this chronic fatigue, I recommend that you check your vitamin D levels. They're probably low. Have you noticed that? When you go to the beach, you feel more lively, right? You have more energy because you're getting sunlight, and with that, you're increasing your vitamin D levels. Pay close attention to this fatigue, this tiredness, and along with that comes muscle weakness. Muscle weakness is classic in people with low vitamin D levels. Why? Because of calcium. Remember when I said that vitamin D reabsorbs calcium from the kidneys and the intestine? This calcium is essential for muscle contraction. So muscle weakness and pain too can be due to low vitamin D levels. Both muscle pain and joint pain are also classic signs of low vitamin D levels. Why? Vitamin D controls inflammation. Yes, it has an anti-inflammatory effect. It helps reduce inflammation in our joints. It even helps with fibromyalgia, which is a serious problem when it comes to pain. Then, my friends, pay close attention to low immunity. That's another classic sign. If you catch a cold every day, if every winter you get a cold or the flu, that's not normal, okay? That's not natural. I haven't had a cold in about 10 years. So, with a good immune system, you shouldn't have any infections. I keep getting ear infections, I keep getting pharyngitis. I keep having these kinds of infections. And that's not natural. That means you have low immunity. And vitamin D is the key to good immunity. So, you need to have vitamin D, I'll talk about it at the end, at least between 60 and 80 nanograms per deciliter to keep your immunity strong, especially if you're already over 60 or 65. Look at the situation with Papo. Papo got an infection in both lungs and is in a very critical condition. So, who has low levels of vitamin D? Immunity is way down. Depression and anxiety. Vitamin D is essential for the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. So, if you have low levels of vitamin D, you might be treating depression with serotonin reuptake inhibitors, treating anxiety with benzodiazepines. And in fact, you just needed to regulate your vitamin D levels. Again, have you noticed that when you go to the beach, you feel more energetic, happier, more cheerful because you get more sun? And the sun isn't just about vitamin D, okay, my friends? Getting some sun is the best thing ever. It will boost neurotransmitter function, release a series of important peptides for our body, and it's rejuvenating. A lot of people are afraid of getting sun and getting skin cancer. No, you just need to know how to get sun safely. Dry and aged skin, suddenly the skin wrinkled out of nowhere. It can also be another sign that you have low levels of vitamin D. Why? Because vitamin D strengthens the dermis. And when vitamin D is lacking, it goes where it's most needed, and where it's least needed is in the skin. So your skin becomes wrinkled, it becomes aged. After you replenish it, you see that the skin rejuvenates, it becomes vibrant, right? It improves out of nowhere when you bring your vitamin D levels back to normal. Another vitamin that is essential, my friends, for youthful skin to stay young longer, right? It's vitamin C, which is essential for collagen production. There are a lot of people taking hydrolyzed collagen, which is useless. It would be much more important to take vitamin C, okay? Because vitamin C, especially when combined with zinc, okay? It will help with collagen production and also helps with immunity. Headaches, you have migraine. You have frequent headaches, frequent migraines, and joint pain. Again, it could be a vitamin D deficiency because it controls inflammation. Remember I said it controls inflammation? That's right. If you reduce your inflammation, the inflammatory process is reduced, and that could be the cause of your headaches and joint pain. Low levels of vitamin D. Magnesium also plays a big role in this process and helps a lot. I always recommend, my friends, and I'll talk about it here later, to take magnesium, vitamin D together with K2 along with magnesium because they work together, okay? And finally, memory and reasoning. Our neurotransmitters, as I mentioned, need vitamin D. They desperately need vitamin D. Can't remember anything. Do you forget your keys? Forget people's names? It could be three things, okay? Low vitamin D, low vitamin B12, or low coenzyme. These are three fundamental elements for the brain. D, B12, and coenzyme. The levels, man, and Moacir. What are the adequate levels of vitamin D? Keep it between 60 and 80 nanograms per deciliter. And then if you're going to supplement, the doses should be at least 2,000 international units per day depending on your level. 2,000 is for maintenance, okay? If you already have good levels, 2,000 to 4,000 per day is enough. If your levels are low, you need to take a higher dose. It can go up to 10,000 per day until you get your levels back to normal. One detail, never take vitamin D without K2, okay? You need to take it together with K2. Why, Monsi? Because vitamin K2 helps direct calcium. Since you're going to absorb more calcium, when you normalize your vitamin D levels, you'll absorb more calcium. But this calcium often goes to the arteries, hardening them and increasing the risk of rupture. So K2 directs this calcium to the bones. And magnesium helps keep this calcium in the bones. So always use it together with K2 and always use magnesium. And another detail, always use the oil-based form, okay? The little capsule comes in this little oil that I'm going to show you here. See? A little capsule with a little bit of oil. Look. There's a little bit of oil inside that helps with absorption. Always choose vitamin D that comes in an oil-based form, okay? That little capsule with the powder doesn't absorb as well. And always choose natural oils, because many brands use oil, but they use sunflower oil, which is hydrogenated, which is inflammatory, and that's what we don't want. So choose brands that use natural oils, like olive oil, for example, or as in this case, MCT oil. It uses MCT as the oil, which is medium chain triglyceride. It's an oil based on coconut oil, which contains capric and caprylic acids. It increases energy production. It's not inflammatory. And it also doesn't accumulate in our belly, right? Another thing we don't want is oil buildup. So always use oily carriers and use natural oils like MCT or olive oil, okay? My friends, if you noticed any of these things, these 7 signs, check your vitamin D levels. They need to be above 60 to get all these benefits we talked about here, okay? My friends, my website, www.moacir.com.br. As I said, on my website, you can find all the supplements I use and recommend. The vitamin D I use is there. The omega-3 I use is there. The magnesium I use is also on my website. My other social media and courses are there too, my friends. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, my friends, it's free. You don't have to pay anything. Just click there to subscribe. Be sure to hit the bell and select all. I hope you enjoyed this video, my friends. I hope it was useful for you. Normalize your vitamin D levels and you'll see how your life will improve. Of course, you can choose to get sunlight every day, at least 40 minutes with your whole body exposed. But if you do that, it's very difficult nowadays. And if that's not your case, if you can't do that, for example, that's my case, I can't, the supplementation will help a lot. You'll see, start supplementing and in a few weeks, come back here and comment on how your life has changed. Take care, my friends, and until next time. See you then.